Hey, ho, ho, ho! It's Max.
It's RJ.
Who would you thought? I don't think if the decorations don't tell you, it's Streaming Christmas!
Yay!
Yay! Streaming Cassettes, as always.
Ho ho ho's.
He is the ho master, RJ Santa, and I am a crooked-nosed reindeer. The wife and the sister-in-law and cousin out there said I have a crooked nose but perfect hair, so I will take that shit.
He was all worried about his hair.
Well, the thing is that your hair, if you're not wearing a hat to cover it, you gotta have the hair looking good. And so I thought that these little reindeer antlers would kind of fit the bill in this nose, but I cannot go an hour plus with this nose squished on me. So to not be obnoxious here, I will turn this off and just put it down on my neck like a choker.
Oh, that's a different kind of choker.
I know this is kind of perverted. Like a freaking
We can upload this to the hub.
To the hub, to OnlyFans.
Yeah, I mean, don't put it on the middle of your forehead though.
I got a nose. Exclusive Streaming Cassettes, but I will definitely wear the antlers throughout the show because I am a cooperative person. How you doing today?
Good. It was a day. It's a weird day.
Weird day?
Yeah.
Well, you worked on a Saturday. That's weird for you.
Oh,
Normally you don't do that. Yes,
Christmas.
Now, did you work Thursday?
It's Christmas. No, I did not.
Right. So I should probably tell the fans if they're watching, if you're not from the northeast of the United States, we're in Vermont, but pretty much most of the northeastern seaboard from, I would say, southern Jersey up through New England at least. I think that's kind of the swath that really got hit. We got dumped with snow. And originally they were saying about like 3 to 6 inches, where maybe depending where you live, that's a lot of snow. Here, that's just another day at the office. Like that's a casual snowstorm. But we got more like 24 to 30 inches, sometimes 3 feet, depending where you live. Actually, nearby in I think Peru, Vermont, which is near like Ludlow. We're in Rutland, just to give you some context. They got probably 4 feet, they're saying. They got like a 48-incher measurement, and it might be the highest 24-hour total in the history of the state. So in 2020 fashion, that was the snowstorm of 2020. So unless like Mother Nature brings another one before the new year rings in of that magnitude, but that's pretty crazy. But yeah, no, you didn't go to work. I did, but it was definitely a struggle even with 4-wheel drive. So it was pretty nuts.
Well, when they said 68, I was like, wait a minute. This is 2020.
Mm-hmm.
We went out at like 8:30 to deliver some food to a good friend. So we at that time it was an inch. So fast forward 12 hours is like an inch an hour almost.
Was that? Oh, did you bring out? Because I dropped food off to I think the same friend. Was it for the Nugget run?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sean was telling me about that. The our friend Sean, shout out my cousin, homie G, part of our group for Harambe chat. If you're on the inside of the insides, but yeah, no, I brought him a Big Mac on Friday, and I heard that you and Aubrey brought him chicken nuggets, so that's pretty dope.
The nugs, we got the nugs.
We got the nugs. Shout out to I just got the results of my final for Excel, and I got 100 on it. So shout out to that. That's what I was just checking. I was like, ooh, that Excel file got graded. So
wow.
Yeah.
100.
Yes, go ahead and end the semester on
Excel is underrated.
There's a lot you can do. I learned a lot, like power pivots and lots of things, but it's very useful.
This is not a basketball show. Just pivots and shit. This is not basketball.
Yeah, and not really a spreadsheet one too, but it's really handy. So actually, shout out to Kevin. Kevin McTaggart loves a good spreadsheet. He said he would do freelance spreadsheet work if he needed it. Really random thoughts I see on his Instagram. So check out him.
He is very random.
Yeah, he's like wrestling, Batman, stand-up comic, Pearl Jam fanatic, Boston sports, but Florida State, the peppered in because he went to college there. And yeah, he is definitely he's a unique man, but not in any like slighted way. It's just really fascinating that like not everyone has that story. I'm pretty dope and happy for him. So.
And where can you find him?
On wingmanoftheyear.com, Kevin McTaggart, the McTaggart Tag Podcast, along with Hunter was just doing a shout out earlier. He's saying that he's uploading the episode. He found the lost episode of me and him. Remember we talked about that last week? He actually found it. So that's coming out soon. That's on Winging It. And he also do Wingman Business. And we also have Wingman Sportsbook. He does a lot of blogging and Instagram, so check him out. And there's another one that's called Covering the Bases, I want to say, and that's a sports statistics show. So that's coming out too. So we got a lot coming down the hopper in the Wingman Empire. So, but the reason you're wondering why we have all our stuff on, right, is it's Christmas time, holiday season, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, winter solstice, Festivus for the rest of us. Wherever you celebrate, we're here for you. And obviously, one of the biggest attributes of a holiday season is the music. It's up there with food and presents and alcohol and all the other things. But music is obviously a big piece, and we are a music show. So we decided, RJ wanted to take lead on this, but we're going to do our top 5 favorite holiday songs and also talk about traditions we do. And we're going to also talk about maybe food, movies, like whatever. It's the holiday season. We're always about being transparent here on the network. So behind the scenes, this is actually probably the last episode we're going to record in 2020. We already did our year-end music one that will come out after this. I haven't decided if it's going to be a 1 or 2-parter. If we do 1 part, it's going to be some Joe Rogan stuff. It's going to be about 2 hours. So if you're dedicated, you can check out our top 10 favorite songs of the year. But we might do 2 parts so you're not too exhausted. Maybe I'll put that up as a question online and let the fans choose. But we have that. And then we'll be right back at it in 2021. We got different plans for debates. We have an interview. Like one of the interviews we want to have soon is with our friend Jared Gray. Solid dude. He's in his own solo project. But he's also in what's called Yankee Cowboy Band. Yes, I'm sure I had that right. He was actually a former alum at WIUD in Castleton with us, and now he lives out in Chicago. So we want to have him, tons of other stuff. But this is kind of like our year kickoff, the send out for 2020. Obviously, you'll see the other episodes next week. But for us, live in the booth, last time recorded for the year. So that'd be dope.
Which is crazy.
It is. It's been a whirlwind. It's been, obviously, it's been 3 months of the show's airing where you guys have seen us. I think this is our 13th episode, 12 or 13, which is wild. But what's crazier is we've had this idea in our eyes since probably late July, my birthday, early August. And so it's really cool to see it come to fruition and the whole network as a whole. And we're only going up from here. So if you want, RJ, how do we want to tackle this? Do you want to tackle right into the songs? Do you want to talk about what you're doing for the holidays?
Let's talk that Christmas is the only holiday with music. Except for Halloween. But you have movies, so that's kind of cheating.
Okay.
You ever notice that? Well, the Christians have Easter. They have Easter songs. But there's no Thanksgiving songs. There's no St. Patrick's Day songs.
Not really. There's Irish theming things.
There's no Arbor Day songs. There's probably Hanukkah songs. Adam Sandler.
Oh, of course. And dreidel, dreidel.
But really, it's the only. We had to think of it, but it's really the only holiday that has music.
To the multitudes, especially.
Yes. Albums after albums after albums. There's kids' Christmas music. There's traditional Christmas music. There's, there's probably opera Christmas music somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Classical Christmas music.
Country Christmas music.
Yes. Twangy, very twangy, probably.
Very twangy.
I don't know. There could be music in the 1800s that's from Christmas. I wonder what the oldest Christmas song is.
That's a good question. Actually, really dorky thing, but it ties into this. I watched on YouTube that channel Cheddar. It does like finance, but they also talk about other things. And they said, why are most popular Christmas songs from the 40s and 50s? And they were talking about how, I literally watched this last night, that the most songs prior to 1942 or 43, somewhere around there, was mostly Christian, like religious songs. And that's where you get a lot of the older ones. So that's where you'd have to date like your oldest Christmas song. But the first one was Bing Crosby's White Christmas. And that movie and everything was like a phenomenon in the 40s. And actually a lot of the soldiers in World War II got to see an early preview of the movie. And it kind of made them remember of home and everything. And then that started the boom for the next 10, 15 years of what is kind of like peak Christmas glory. And then obviously there's been covers and new songs and like the types of John Lennon to Mariah Carey, whatever. Yeah, I mean, but the whole core of it started from Bing Crosby's White Christmas, and I never knew that.
Most covered songs are probably Christmas songs.
Oh, big time.
So many versions. You don't even know who did the original. They just put their name on it. Like, yeah, I did this. Here's my version. Because like every version's so different. It's so weird how that happens.
It's a pretty fascinating, reason. Like why is Christmas music so important? Like what ties us as a society to this holiday more than any other holiday music?
Well, you have the Christian side, and a lot of those songs are really good. But then you have the silly side, like Rudolph and Frosty and the creep who watches you while you sleep and comes down your chimney.
And Mr. Grinch.
And Mr. Grinch, you have that too. So there's the silly side too, plus the Christian side, plus the fun side with some of the country songs about drinking too much eggnog.
Mm-hmm.
There's stuff like that too. So there's something for everybody in Christmas, even if you don't celebrate or not celebrate. Even if you don't like Christmas that much, maybe you're Scrooge. There's something in it for you.
Mm-hmm. More ways than one.
Mm-hmm.
There's even like Scroogey kind of songs that are like ways to screw Christmas.
Happy Holidays, You Bastard by Blink-182.
Yeah, that's a good
40
one.
seconds long, but great song.
Yeah. So we're going to cover quite an interesting variety. I think RJ's is very on brand with him. And then I got Raz from RJ in the chat that I was very white basic bitch on mine. I think I have some deviation from our true white person Christmas list, but I really am kind of curious to see how people think about this.
You changed one of your songs, so it's like, okay, he changed a little bit. So
yes, I did do an audible. I did do an audible. Omaha.
That was a while. Speaking of 2020, that was a while ago too, when he won his last one.
2016.
Yeah, that was already 4 years ago.
Talk about feeling
well. My girlfriend wears my Buffalo Sabres shirt because it's too big for me. The Winter Classic one.
Yep.
That's 2008.
Wow.
That was already 12 years ago when they played in the Winter Classic.
The first one.
Mm-hmm.
Against the Penguins, right?
Yep.
That's so crazy.
12 years ago. Already.
The good times just fly by. Not that you can't get more good times.
Not for like, no, I'm not teasing here, but watch Home Alone today, and man, have the times changed.
Well, that whole movie couldn't exist nowadays.
Well, besides the banter, all the stuff, just like the telephones and great. When he's in Buzz's room the first time, and they kind of circle around the room, the camera, and I looked to Aubrey and I said, "This is the most 90s room ever." You had Michael Jordan on the door with his short shorts. Then you had Buzz with that weird, like, crop top thing in the 90s. They had Mark McGuire in the corner, but he had like a weird pose. He was like this.
And he was in the A's, right?
Yeah, but he was popular in the 90s too with the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, that is the most 90s thing I ever saw.
That's wild.
It is. It's wild. And then just technology, Like when Joe Pesci's in the van, he's like, oh, they probably got, rings and shit. You're probably thinking rings. He's like, no, they got VCRs. Like, VCRs, man. I haven't seen one of those in, I don't know.
Not saying a lot because you used to work at Goodwill. I'm sure you saw like VHS tapes.
They flew off the shelf, the VCRs. Well, most of them had the double DVD and VCR.
Yeah, but still, that's just crazy.
Think of it this way too. When somebody said, I think it was on the news, oh, VCRs are gonna be the thing of the past. I'm like, yeah. He was right. He said something about Blu-ray too.
You can watch everything on these.
Yeah, like Blu-ray, like, oh, everything's gonna be Blu-ray. It's like, yeah, whatever. And it's like, yep, he's right.
It's wild. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we tackle our 5 songs and then we'll go into some traditions. Do you want to go first? Or you want me to?
It's my idea, but
so I think you
in the Christmas spirit, you should go first.
Okay. And actually that works because then you'll finish out on top with your number one. Because actually I have a lot of questions about your number one and sort of the meaning behind it. So, all right. So I'll do a couple honorable mentions. Do you have you didn't have any honorable mentions?
I just never said
you
it.
kind of just
I
like,
was trying
squished
to
it.
thinking. It was just so many songs.
So the two honorable mentions I picked, and this is where one of my Omahas went. It was originally on my top 5, but then I realized, oh wait, this song needs to be on my top 5, so it got kicked out to honorable mentions. So it's kind of a cheesy, happy one, but it makes me think of like middle school age and just like, I don't know. It's grown on me over the years, but it's "Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays" by NSYNC. Definitely the song that Lance Bass carries, which is really a weird sentence to say out loud.
Yeah.
For once, yes. And then the other one I picked, and it's a catchy song, and I'm curious if you listened to it at all. And I know a little bit of the backstory, but I've heard it more. This is like a more I discovered it a couple years ago. Is "Players Ball" by Outkast. A lot of people don't realize this. That's the first song they've ever released as a group under Jermaine Dupri and So Def, or what? I don't know, So Def or Lecrae, but whatever label they were on in the early '90s, it was a basically that album's holiday like playlist, and they're like, yo, like put a song on there. It's a Christmas song, and they're like, oh, this is weird. So they picked one for like where they were in Atlanta, and it was called "Players Ball," and it's really interesting, and they got them a lot of like more like BET Award nominations and stuff, but it was the first song from Outkast was "Players Ball," and I didn't really know all this history until I started watching. What did I watch? I watched like something about Outkast, but also Hip Hop Evolution on Netflix. Great series, but they talked about this. So it was really interesting to learn about that, and I've always thought that was kind of a cool song, but I've only listened to it like a handful of times. So that was my two honorable mentions. Okay, did you listen to that one at all?
I liked it. I think I've heard it once.
Yeah,
but don't remember it.
Right. You just kind of like the beginning with Andre 3000 is starting to begin to look like, and he just goes off. That's like kind of the iconic part of that song in my mind. Okay, so number 5. Number 5 is the classic Christmas Sarajevo by Trans-Siberian Orchestra. It's just it's I think it's cool because it's one of those songs, or the whole movement of Trans-Siberian Orchestra is like the rock elements with orchestra, and it's such a thing that works in Christmas time. I don't really have any in-depth analysis. I know people say that performing live, because they've come to like Albany and stuff before, is really great. I've never seen them, but I had to put it in my number 5 slot because whenever I hear it, I'm always like, yeah, this is Christmas time.
Did I influence you?
With that, it reminded, actually, it's funny, when I started listening to your list, it reminded me that I had to grab Trans-Siberian Orchestra because I'm like, wait, why did I fucking forget about this?
A little tease for you.
Yeah, it's a little tease. Yeah, that's why I was like, I have to put this on the list. And Sinks was more like, oh, it's kind of cute, but it's not like one I have to listen to every year. So I was like, yeah, I'll throw an honorable mention. But yeah, that's why I picked it. It's a classic one that I love the orchestra vibe because it's very a Christmas theme. And obviously electric guitars, even if this has been recorded more than 20 years ago, it still just kind of has that vibe where you're like, all right, shit's going down. We're having some eggnog that's spiked.
If you want to see me play with my balls, watch on YouTube and OnlyFans.
Yeah, all our balls here, all our choke gas and shit.
No, speaking of trans, yeah, they not trans, but
Trans-Siberian.
Yeah. We can't say that anymore. Be like, oh yeah, trans, they're a great band. It's like, you gotta say Trans-Siberian. I've tried to see them for years and just like they sell out so quick. It just it never happens because they always come to Albany.
Yeah, usually they do.
Minus this year. Obviously, but yeah, they're great, and I like their mix of, like you said, kind of like the opera orchestra stuff mixed in with rock. Not sure how many members they have, but hey, I'm sure it pays the bills for those guys.
Oh, for sure. I mean, every year, and I think they rotate out different people that play the parts too. So it's like a good gig if you're in like orchestra stuff. You can like have a guaranteed holiday tour money when you're doing shows again.
Yeah.
So
like do Zoom.
Yeah, maybe there's a virtual Trans-Siberian Orchestra. That'd be pretty dope.
Well, I'll talk about that later, actually.
Oh yes,
the concert stuff.
Yeah, definitely. That's a big thing you mentioned on the Instagram. But yeah, that's the only. I'll be honest. So I do like Christmas. Obviously, I'm not a Grinch, but I don't have like my wife is probably a better person for this episode because she could give you some hard facts on what her favorite songs are. I obviously have some, and I have certain memories tied to these songs, but I may not be as analytical as some of my other musical commentary. So that's where I come from with this. But that doesn't mean I don't care. I just think like I just like the vibe of Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And obviously being an instrumental, there's not really a vocal piece that has you tied in with any meaning to the song and made the significance of the holiday. So speaking of
That was good.
thank you. Speaking of songs that actually don't really have an instrumental, although actually, don't want to like jump the fence. This is the only one I forgot to listen to the second act, and I'm sorry about that. I was confused. I thought that was like a guest feature. So I did not listen to John Williams' version of this.
Oh, yeah, that's the original.
Okay. But I listened to the cover as
Okay.
you put on here. So you want to announce your number 5?
I'll do my honorable mentions. Green
Oh, yes,
Sleeves.
please do that.
Green Sleeves is a good one. Here's one we could do. What's your favorite silly Christmas song? You got Jingle Bells, you got Frosty, you got Rudolph, the Grinch,
That's tough.
the Hawaiian Christmas.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Silly Christmas. What's yours?
Probably Rudolph's pretty good. I like Frosty because of how he can come back and go away and come back. So that's kind of cool.
I think it'd be Rudolph because I feel like I really can hit some falsettos when I sing it, which is really
That's fun,
no
especially
reason.
you have the answers to all the questions. Like he had a very shiny nose, like a light
Such
bulb.
a shiny nose.
Like a light bulb.
Like a light bulb. Yeah,
Yeah.
That like the callback. I love
Yeah.
the callback.
The
in Rudolph.
callback in that
Yes.
song's great. Yes.
So yeah, my favorite silly one is probably Rudolph.
Mhm.
And then mind you, for the fans at home, I sent you those honorable mentions when I sent the list so you listened. I didn't realize you had honorable mentions, so I apologize.
Green Sleeves. Last Christmas is a good one.
Oh, okay.
That's a good
Which
one.
version? There's a many.
Oh, Wham stuff.
Interesting. Okay.
Taylor Swift is
I have opinions on that song. Obviously, you'll see in this chart, but I can tell you what I think the second best cover I've heard of that is.
Oh.
I don't want to give it away. Okay, so those are the honorable mentions.
Yes.
But you're number 5.
Let's get on with number 5. A little untraditional, but for some people who grew up with this movie might agree with me. I have the Home Alone theme. Now, you may be thinking, well, which one? Well, August Burns Red does a great cover where they do the main theme, and then they do the second kind of part that's heard in the movie. Usually when you see the old man, the first time you see the old man, they actually play it. If you heard the song, you would know. But yeah, John Williams did the original. Speaking of genius, and who probably doesn't have to work for the rest of his life, but will. If you don't know who John Williams is, you
Were we just talking about him last week?
should not be watching this show, so go away. Yes, we did talk about him last week.
I thought so. Yeah.
Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Jurassic Park, Harry Potter, just to name a few.
In the Home Alone.
Plus Home Alone, Schindler's List. I didn't go. I could keep going. There's probably more on there that I don't even know. I'm like, holy crap, he did that. So yeah, Home Alone theme is number 5. A little bit different, not very traditional.
It is a little off kilter. I didn't expect it.
I know. I just like the tone to it. It's so cool.
It is very iconic, though. It's such an iconic movie. I mean, it's timeless, honestly. It's definitely top 5 Christmas movies for sure. It's really good. But yeah, it's funny. I didn't listen to the original, so I was confused by how you labeled it. I did on the rest. I got the hang of it by number 4 on your list. But August Burns Red's cover, it was kind of fun to listen to that. And I didn't know if there'd be like any lyrical elements, but it was just straight instrumental. But if you want some like kind of a metal vibe on your Christmas music, you can put this on and go to town making some roast beast.
But still able to listen with everybody else.
That's true. It's not really too off kilter.
No.
Because I'll just say it. You have August Burns Red on here for a couple different songs coming up, and so listening to the vibe of it, it's very much like this kind of cover where it is rock, but it's nothing too like over the top. It's just like some thrashing and some good like guitars just going at it. So I dug it. Number 4. My number 4. I'm trying to see if I'm going to flip it. No, I won't. Okay, I'll tell you this. The reason I struggle between 4 and 3 is like sometimes that you have a song that you like and then it turns into a meme, and so the meme destroys the song. what I'm debating on here. Okay, I'm gonna do it. This would have been my number 3, but I'm making it my number 4, and it's because I actually dug this song a while back, and then it just sort of got destroyed by the memeness of the song. Is "All I Want for Christmas" by Mariah Carey. It's overplayed a lot nowadays. I'm not gonna lie, but if you look at it from like a song construction standpoint and like the way it's set up, it's a pretty flawless song for a Christmas song. Like it hits nostalgia when it came out in the 90s, but it has like a 40s nostalgia. She hits all the notes great. And I know we talked about where she was a guilty pleasure of mine. You know, she is quite obnoxious as a person from what I can gather on, you know, MTV Cribs, other different things in her life. But she does this song great. And I had originally my 3 spot, but I'm going to drop it to 4 only because it's been overplayed for the last 3 years. It's turned into like basically you have Halloween and then Mariah Carey comes crashing in. And then like, and when I say this, I'm not trying to knock the song, but she ruins the charts on the Billboard Hot 100 because now it turns into like Christmas songs on there. And it always throws me off because I have nothing against the Christmas songs, but they're so out of the way of like the era when they're released. I feel like it just doesn't even make sense with the rest of the chart, but that's the power of streaming, honestly. This year, there was like 4 songs, like Rockin', like Jingle Bell Rock. I don't know if you saw it, but it was crazy. I'm like, holy crap.
Happens every year.
Well, more than usual.
Recently, yes.
In the last 3 years, this is like a new phenomenon where basically Christmas comes and like destroys all like presence of a normal Billboard Hot 100 for like understanding where current music is. But no, it's a solid track. I can definitely see why people put in the number 1 slot, but I feel like it has an overhyped feeling to it. And so I can't do it in the top 3. I'll put in for the technicality of it, but I know it's basic. But yeah, I used to like it a lot, but it's starting to dwindle a little bit.
I don't know how people can make that number 1. There's so many better songs.
I know, but it happens.
It's in every department store. I mean, really.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. I think before when you used to listen to it, like, okay, this is kind of catchy. This is kind of interesting. And then I don't know what re-triggered like the renaissance of it, but it turned into being like, you know, more than like it just went to the top. I'm like, this is the one we have to play right away. And it's like, okay, that's kind of killed the vibe of it. Because it used, in my opinion, I thought it was kind of more of a hidden gem because it was newer. So it wasn't really, it was kind of hidden in the shadows of Christmas. You know, it wasn't like, you know, rocking around the Christmas tree and like White Christmas and all these other ones. But yeah. So that's my 4. I'm happy with that choice.
Oh, because you said Mariah Carey breaks down the door. So does Michael Bublé.
Yes.
Comes out of hibernation.
Yes, Michael Bublé does.
I mean, he doesn't really. We don't have his drink today.
I know.
Not a sponsor.
Yeah, no Bublé.
We don't have Bublé.
No.
Bublé. And what's JT's? Doesn't he do Bay or something? Bay?
Oh, Bay. Yes.
Is that what he does? Because they have like the Blueberry Bay.
Yeah, he was in some Bay ads.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought so. A couple years back.
Mm-hmm.
Your number 4.
Those are decent. Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
Number 4. Going back to more traditional. God, I'm going to say it the right way. God rest ye, gentlemen.
Ye.
Merry gentlemen. Sorry. God. Get all technical. This one's interesting because I never liked this song because it was always traditionalized and it always was slow and boring and I could never get into it. I would always fall asleep, just like Oh Holy Night. Or Silent Night too, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've learned to appreciate those songs more. But back in the day, I was like, this is a boring song because it was Christmas. Yay! Santa's coming.
A little more sauce on it.
Santa. I'm not gonna yell it because we have guests.
Santa.
Oh my God. Anyway, I heard August Burns Red do this when they released their Christmas album 2012. And I was like, hey, you can't do that. They can see us. The government can see us. They're going to demonetize this now.
Oh, because I just flipped that on?
Yes.
I was checking the score for you.
I have alerts. It's okay.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, sorry. By the way, Saturday football threw me off.
It's great, but it's also like weird because it throws off your whole psyche.
It does. I'm like, wait a minute. I know they did last year, but it was okay. But I think it's because it did so late.
Well, you know what they usually do? They only do 1 week of it, and usually it's the week 16, like around Christmas time.
Yeah.
This week 15 is new. They did not do this last time. But I think because of the lack of college football, they're like, well, we can get away with it.
Yeah,
COVID.
You know, not to get off track, but the bowl games are going to be blowouts until the national championship.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Clemson just did that to Notre Dame. So.
Yeah, I know it's going to happen. I didn't even watch it. I love Notre Dame, but I'm like, yeah.
Notre Dame always chokes.
Exactly.
The last time they didn't choke was like the early 90s.
Yeah, the last time they were in it, we couldn't see them because they were fake. That's inside. Sports fans will get it. Sports fans, I know what he's talking about. Does he still play for the Chargers or does he get traded?
I think he's like practice squatting on, oh God, what team? He started Chargers, he went to Saints. He's somewhere now. I bring up your 4 a little more, but I will find out.
Hey, at least he's still kicking and doing well. That's the thing. He's still doing good after college. Yeah. So yeah, God rest ye merry gentlemen. Like I said, wasn't a big fan to their August Burns Red version. And I fell in love with it. I love the instrumental. I love the melody to it. I think it's also in major key, which most are. I think this might be in the minor. One of my songs is, and I'll explain why I picked that number when we get to it. Anyway, what you find out about
Bears.
Can't see. Practice squad?
Yeah, practice squad, starter, Bears, flip-flop.
Nice, good for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the version I was like, oh, this is pretty good. It was Fifth for a King, which I discovered last year on a compilation album called Midnight Clear by Solid State Records, which usually hardcore, metalcore, pop punk, stuff I like is on there a lot. But yeah, I actually like that version a lot. I like the acoustic and how it builds up. His vocals get higher until the last chorus where they're screaming, but not too much screaming, and then crescendos up, and I like how it just builds, and by the second time listening to it, I'm like, okay, this is kind of a genius thing that they did.
Yeah, I kind of dug this. So obviously the August Burn Red, all the August Burn Red are just solid thrashings. I think that'll just be my blanketed way because I have more questions on some of the other people because you haven't covered a few times August Burn, which is Red. Fit for a King, it reminded me of My Immortal by Evanescence in the way the song structure was. Very much a slow build, very like kind of, very vocal driven with a very light backdrop on the instrumental, and it comes crashing at the end, but it works beautifully. It has that build up, and it works exactly with how the lyrics work. And I dug it a lot. And I was curious how you found them on that compilation album. So yeah, Santa might be coming down the chimney right now.
Do you even have a chimney?
We used to, like a wood stove chimney.
We have one of those black ones like everybody has in my neighborhood.
Yeah, like the little tiny ones.
Yeah.
We actually have a brick chimney, but it goes to our heating.
Oh, yeah, I remember that back in the day.
Yes. So that's there. But yeah, no, I just thought that was cool. The Fit for a King version, no doubt. And that, because I always like little vocal.
Here's my thing. It's just like when I was growing up, it was okay to listen to like cheesy Christmas music. And when I got older, like I would say probably this came out 2012. So probably my 20s, I was like, I don't really like Christmas music.
Mm-hmm.
And then bands started releasing instrumentals, and then as I discovered Trans-Siberian, I was like, oh, okay, so there is something for me and not this corny, cheesy singing that everybody's doing. So that's why ABR is on there, plus other bands are on there a lot, because it's something that I could enjoy other than Trans-Siberian or Steamroller, which is another instrumental Christmas band, but they do more like I would say adult contemporary type stuff and like weird flutes and stuff, but it's cool, and they use keyboards and stuff. So
it's pretty dope.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate that. Number 3.
Oh God, here we go.
Oh, this is fun. So because of the flip, number 4 is coming up to number 3 now. So I am choosing Christmas in Hollis, Queens by Run DMC.
Honorable mention. If we had a top 10, it'd be in my top 10.
It would be. It's such a solid track. I think
so
good. It's so good. It fits the Christmas vibe. And I think what's cool about it is obviously it's like frozen in time with that sort of like mid to late 80s vibe with Run DMC. And there's other rap songs out there, Christmas songs. But I just think there's a level, it's a level of, obviously it's a rap song, but sometimes I think that it gets overshadowed in the Christmas section. And I think that I just love the track. The chicken and collard greens and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Just like every part of it feels like it's a really well told story. And I always love the vibe of the song.
When I was a kid, we had the Christmas. I forget what the album was called. It was a compilation. It had Wham. It had Bryan Adams. Had U2. It had Bruce Springsteen, Madonna, had all those guys from like the 80s, 90s, popular ones. I forget what it's called. It's called like a Christmas collection or something. It's like 5 of them. And we had the cassette and the CD of the first and second one. And this song was on it. Never got the freaking lyrics of it because I was a kid. My dad loved this song because he grew up in Queens.
Mm-hmm.
And but what I always liked was the beat and the break and the chorus. The chorus is a just a music break. And I listened to it at work the other day because she was like, "Hey, let's go to some singing Christmas music instead of instrumental stuff," which is usually good for work, but it was just us two. So I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." So I put that on, and that song came on, and we were jamming. We were kind of jammed to it. I'm like, "Yeah, this is a little classic song. The music break is so good," and I kind of laughed at the lyrics sometimes, but because it was a little dated. But I got to give it to Run DMC because no matter how much shit they get, they just do their thing. And I think that's down your alley of it's rap. You got to do your own kind of thing.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't really discover this till like high school. Like it wasn't on my radar until like I just stumbled upon it, and I was like, "Oh, this is great." And you're right. I mean, obviously, I like rap stuff in general, so that's obviously cool. Actually, I feel like most of my list, if you look at it, it's very much like, while it's not like a full rap one, all the ones I picked are kind of more in that like contemporary, like it goes with a little bit more of a percussion or a little more flavor. The reason it's not my number 1 or 2, honestly, is because the next 2 I'm going to tell you has like more memorable meanings to me. And this is just more like a solid bop I jam to. And it's just kind of like, even if I'm the only guy in the room that loves it, it's like, okay, I'll deal with it. I like this song too from DMC because it reminds me of The Night Before with Seth Rogen. It's such a solid movie. And that's like at the beginning when they're singing karaoke at the bar. Great. Love it.
Underrated. You should go watch it.
Underrated. You know what's another underrated movie? Well, underrated is, I'll say this. It has some of the best like scenes in the early mid part of it, and then it kind of is okay after. But we were watching as 4 Christmases with Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon.
So good.
The Joseph scene is probably one of the funniest Christmas scenes I've ever seen in a movie. That whole like, well, even the salad dish and everything at his dad's house, but like the first 2 houses are amazing. Like the rest is pretty funny too, but we stopped halfway through because I had to actually go do some errands and had to leave. But yeah, that's another amazing movie. I love.
That is a good one too. Thank you for bringing it up because I remember that. That was great. It's great the first time, and then it gets old after a while. But the first viewing is so good.
The 4 Christmases.
Yes.
Yeah, if you watch it back for us when we were watching it, it's kind of like you go up to the spot when Vince Vaughn plays Joseph, and at that point you can kind of be like, okay, like it's the rom-com, so that's gonna be more of your rom piece. But like if you just want a good laugh, the first half of that movie is fire. It is fire on fire. It's great. Yeah, no, I like The Night Before too. I need to watch that one. So, I think we're on to your number 3.
We are, and there's many versions of this song too, just like every other song we have on this list.
Just about,
except for Hollis.
Yeah, it's the only one off here.
Yeah, I picked "Oh Come All Ye Faithful." I picked the Chris Tomlin version because that's like the latest one I've been listening to. So there's many versions. Trans-Siberian does a version of it, very different. There's tons of other versions of this song. The reason it's number 3 for me, not because it's the reason of the season, but some people it is, and kind of is, the birth of the risen one, and the
Jeebus.
I have some beliefs in the Jeebus. I like his vibe, as the kids say nowadays. But my problem is churches. That's it. I think Jesus is cool, but my problem is churches. Because say, oh yeah, we teach Jesus. Like, yeah, but you won't let a gay guy in. So. Here, probably.
Your TED Talk.
Yeah. Well, it was a meme on Facebook I sent to you. It was like, and Jesus is on like the hill, and he's like, "Love everybody," and then some guy's like, "But," and then it shows the Office guy Stanley going, "Did I stutter?"
Yeah, that's some facts.
Anyway, but yeah, I like his version a lot. I mean, there's more upbeat versions, there's slower versions. His is kind of like middle ground. And he is a Christian artist, and I will say some of his songs are good. He does a song with Lecrae that's really good, where Lecrae just spits at the end. It's so good.
Chris solid.
Yeah, he is. Chris Thomas pretty good too. Some of their songs get kind of like old because they overplay it on the Christian radio stations, but I will say he's a good artist. And the reason I like him is because he doesn't have much controversy. A lot of Christian artists have a lot of controversy around them. And he kind of, he releases his music. He's pretty popular, stays under the radar, just lives in his house in Texas and kind of just does his own thing. And I like Hillsong. I don't know if you know them, but they have like United, they have church, they have the United EDM group they have now.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of controversy because of their main pastor said some crap that is not good. I'm not going to say in the show where you can go look it up. It's everywhere. Something I would not say anywhere, but you should go look it up. And it's one of those previous episodes. It's kind of hard to listen to them anymore. So.
Oh yes, yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, I like his version.
So it's just you like how it sounded. I didn't know if
Yeah.
there was a reason you picked him over other versions. Just more of like the aesthetics of it.
Yeah, there's so many versions of that song.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I heard it in church once, Catholic church, from my parents. I'm like, oh, this arrangement's as like a 10-year-old kid. I'm like, oh, this arrangement's fire.
Yeah. Well, sometimes those Catholic hymns hit hard a little bit.
They do. They can. Especially the organ and everything.
Oh, no doubt. Shout out to the organ. Are we at number 2?
Oh, you didn't give your take on this.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought, so no, I liked his. Yeah, it was great. Good shit.
Great song. All right, let's go.
No, the Chris Tomlin version. It was good. It was very much. I think it was like a very classic composition of the song. I think with his is sometimes with this song, a lot of people hit really high pitched notes, and it's very like it's like okay, like you're really invested in it. And then there's ones that are a little more folksier and like have a folk rock vibe. This is kind of like the classic. All right, go crush this song, but don't add any extra sauce on it. And that's kind of what I got the vibe. I'm like, okay, I can see this. And for me, like that's why I was curious why if you picked that one. I could see if I liked that one on my list, it would be maybe like an emotional tie to like the holiday and some sort of memory I have. And I didn't know if you had that or you just like you like the sound of it.
I love the arrangement of that song particularly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. But yeah, and the good thing about this song is that there's probably other ones like it, but about this version, you can sing along to it.
That's true. Yeah, because sometimes with this one, it can go a little faster, it can go a little more thematic in the way the singing is, so it's not like in everybody's range.
Like that Lady Gaga meme going around.
Bad Romance?
Yes.
Yeah, that one
just gets higher and higher and higher.
Higher octaves as we go here.
Every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, that's the last one. I'm like, nope, that's not.
You always forget.
I know.
And honestly, I think there's times they cut it off and they think, oh, there has to be another octave they're cutting out here. Now, yeah, it was a good track. I dug it. As you know, I always joke I'm more a little high energy, but if you're in the mood and you watch traditional Christmas, I think that version does fits the bill. So sorry about not giving you my take.
Sorry for nodding. It was a record broken by, the one and only.
Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
What did you just break?
Most 40 touchdowns by a quarterback.
40 in the season?
In a career.
God damn.
Which is crazy to think of.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's crazy to think of. You've never seen that before. Well, a lot of them will drop off like Patty Mahomes did after his 50th season. He went down to like 28.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
it happens a lot.
Really, that's some consistency.
Yeah,
especially over the years with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. All right, number 2. Now this one, I will be honest. I feel horrible. I don't know the original person who composed this song. I need to look it up. This in the past, until like maybe in the last 4 or 5 years, would have been my number 1. Really weird. I know. Okay, so it's Feliz Navidad by Jose Feliciano. So that's the original. I wanted to make sure I got the
talk about what you're gonna say. I have an interesting thing about this.
Why it's my number? It could have been my number 1, or
it could have been.
up until like if we did this show 5 years ago, it'd been my number one song. I don't know why. I'll be real. I don't have any Hispanic
I mean, technically, I do.
ancestry.
Portuguese.
Yeah, right. And Nicole's Portuguese too. I forgot you guys are both Portuguese a little bit. Yeah, no, I have no Hispanic ancestry, not at all. I think I like the song because it's so upbeat and happy. And I think when I was younger listening to it, it was like so off kilter from every other Christmas song. And I was just like, yo, this is fun. And I used to this day, Nicole, my wife, anyone who knows me makes fun of you. And I'd say, I'll go, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I just go right into it. I sing the whole song. I freaking love it. I don't know. I think it honestly is because it's like an upbeat track that has like some percussion, some rhythm. And I don't know why, but I got hooked by it. And I think I like the fact that I was like doing the bilingual singing Spanish and English because it's different. I think being younger, you're like, oh, I think it was just the uniqueness of this track. Obviously, it's a very important song to a lot of people in their cultures, like Hispanic and like Mexican, like anywhere in Latino community. But for me, I think it was just like I really enjoyed it. I mean, I guess if I had to pinpoint anything, is I lived when I was at the age I appreciated the song. I lived in Idaho from 96 to 01. I was like 6 to 12 years old. Yes, the Vandals over here.
Backwards, yeah.
Yeah, over here. Yeah. Shout out to that. My stepdad went to college out there, and still a 518er, but went out there. And I actually had a lot of friends from a lot of different backgrounds. Not to go too much into a TED talk here, but I had friends that one of my closest friends when I was in the 3rd grade living out in Idaho, his name was Ramiro. He was Argentinian. I had a whole group of friends I hung out with that were actually all Mexican. I had friends that were Korean. I had friends that were Mormons. I had actually the place I lived had a lot of people from Saudi Arabia. Actually, that was the first time I kind of learned about like the headdresses and sort of like the different rules where it's like they kind of just like had their head, at least their head covering. Some even just did strictly their eyes. And which someday maybe I'll dive into that topic publicly. But what's interesting is I feel really thankful I saw all these different cultures. I had friends that were actually like 50% Native American. Like around here, people are like, oh, I'm a 16th Cherokee, and they think that's like a novelty. But like when I say that, I don't mean to knock it, but like there's people that actually like had family on like reservations and have stories because living out in Idaho out west, like that's very big, and that's up in the East Coast you don't see as much. Not in a bad way, it's just historically how it's laid out. And I think during that time, you just would hear different songs or you see different traditions that were different from Little Max from upstate New York's Christmas traditions. And I don't know, this song I always would hear, and I just thought it was a really fun song. Obviously, I think me dissecting my 9-year-old brain wasn't thinking about like acceptance and diversity back then, but it was just more like, oh, this was a fun song. It was upbeat. I dug it. And I thought it was cool because it was so different from every other Christmas song out there.
Okay, my turn.
Yeah, sorry.
I agree. I like growing up in the 732s, Jersey. Did you say I hung out with a bunch of different kids. My neighborhood was mostly white, but there were some kids if you go down the block. Mm-hmm. But the school was very diverse. So, lots of blacks, lots of Spanish, lots of Korean, Chinese, Asian. I mean, I can say the same, but trying to tell you like
diversify
every 1 in 5 kids is going to be a different color probably. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that I just want to go off that because trying to tell people that it's not just where you are, it's everywhere. Being in Vermont, yeah, it's different. Rutland does have Jersey vibes, but it's not as like it's a totally different planet if you go there, if you know what I'm talking about, compared to here. People want to compare Jersey. Nothing compared to Jersey. There are some things like I'm not going to say why or how it happened, but there was an event that we both drove to, and it wasn't that exciting, but it was exciting because we drove to it and we felt like kids again because where are the cops going? Let's go chase it. So
we talking about 99 was on fire?
Yeah,
which wasn't on fire. But yes, no, it definitely I'm thankful for. I love being in Vermont, but I'm also thankful for being going other places in the world, and not so much abroad. I never left the U.S. I'm kind of lame, but the parts of the country because
Canada doesn't count anymore. At this point,
not really. I mean, the one time.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's another story for another time.
That could be like a Patreon thing.
Yeah, a little
or like an Instagram thing because I was on the air by myself and this guy got stuck in Canada.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
We'll do maybe a bonus episode after this, but this is Christmas. So, but yeah, no, Feliz Navidad, I think it's just because of how unique and different it was. But up until real honestly 5 years ago, I probably would have put my number one.
And then I am Hispanic. I'm technically Portuguese, so that is Hispanic. I do have Mexican that married into the family as my uncle in Jersey married my aunt, my dad's sister.
Yeah,
is from Mexico. Guy can cook like no other. I'll tell you that. And the thing about foreign people, not to go off on a tangent, but he is like so excited about everything. And to us, it's like, dude, it's a big thing of hot sauce. Like he came up for 2 days a couple weeks ago to see us and to meet Aubrey, and we went to like a mini country store in Manchester, and it was like a big box of hot sauce. It's like, Joe, look at this big box of hot sauce. And to us, it's like, yeah, we see it all the time. But to him, it's like a big deal, even though he's in his 50s. It's still a big deal to them, and I think we as people need to be like that.
Where's he from originally, or
Mexico? Yeah, he was.
Born Mexico. So he's So when did he move to the U.S.?
I don't know the whole story, but I know he came over, walked in, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Does have his green card. Does have he did the test and everything, so he's clean. But he is Mexican, and I think seeing that and seeing my grandmother, who was in Austria during the Nazi times, and my step grandfather, who's in Greece. I don't know if he saw anything, but just seeing how excited they are for like small things that you're like, yeah, I can just walk outside and do that. But they're like so excited about stuff. Like my step grandfather couldn't speak English. He spoke some of it. And he would get so excited when he fixed something or somebody came over and fixed it. And he would just get so excited. And to us, it's like, yeah.
Because before they had to kind of do it on their own. It's not.
Exactly. And I think people don't get that. And when you grow up other places like we did, you kind of can see why they're like that. But like a tourist comes in and they're all excited. When my grandma gets excited about something, they're like looking at us like, the fuck? Like, I mean, yeah, you got to see where she came from and stuff. But
no, it's really cool.
And then the interesting fact about the singer.
From
when I saw that on your list, I'm like, I got to say this. I was at the future in-laws house, and it was me and mom's boyfriend George. We were watching the news, and they had a whole segment about him.
Oh, about Feliz Navidad and the song? Oh,
they had a whole segment about him, how he came up in Spain, and how he was a semi-popular musician, kind of like a Hazier. He's kind of, you know the name, but he's there.
Right.
You know the name, but he's there. MGMT or something. Like they're there.
Yeah.
They're there, but you don't really know much.
Yeah.
So this song came out for him, and it kind of exploded for him. I mean,
big time.
I mean, he put food on the family put food on the table for his family and stuff. So yeah, it was a huge song for him.
Yeah, I didn't realize this. Released in 1970 on cassette.
I mean, he was kind of big in Spain, but anywhere else you go, you're like, who the hell was that?
Wow.
So I was like, oh, that's so interesting. I gotta say that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really random. You wouldn't expect it to be a song I would have so high on a list, but it is. I think it's just
my other thing, because the song is just so dated and stuff. When I was like, we were saying about Spanish versus English.
Yeah.
I think when you're like a little kid, 5 to maybe 10, I think any kind of Spanish and English in one song, it's like, wow. Like Macarena, you're like, it's a stupid song, but when you're like 5, it's like so catchy.
I think that's what you're right. That's exactly. I think that's what got me hooked in, and then it just turned into that with like being more up tempo to other Christmas tracks, and then it just grew a life of its own. And now whenever I hear it, I just have to kind of vibe.
Or like cheesy song, but Gasolina. You heard that as a kid, and like, oh my god, he's rapping in Spanish, and then the chorus is English. What?
Yeah.
So. Nowadays, I still put it up.
Well, what's crazy now is time and time again, that's always been a successful thing musically. And then what's even really crazier now, and it just shows you
how music's transforming is you have people like J Balvin and Bad Bunny. They're doing like 100% like Spanish only songs and charting. And then you have BTS is doing 100% Korean based songs and charting. And it shows you that like you don't even need to have the hybrid. Like people are just, it's just crazy. The world of music right now is just really fantastic. So I'm sorry, we went on a long one on the number 2 for me. I apologize.
I'll make sure to put this in the description so people are like, wait, they talked about that?
Yes, we talked about a bunch of stuff. So, Carols of the Bells is your number 2.
Yes.
I'll let you know.
Also, Christmas Eve by Siberian Orchestra. You know, kind of the same thing. So, Carol of the Bells, Christmas Eve, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, so I thought so. So that's your number 2.
That's my number 2, yes.
My 5 is your 2. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is, people call it Christmas Eve. Some people call it Carol of the Bells because, you know, how it starts. But August Burns Red, of course, is a great cover of this. There's many covers of this song that are very good, though. Well, these are my 2 favorite. The thing about the Christmas Eve version one is it starts off slow and it kind of builds to the ending when they're doing this weird thing and the guitar goes called sweep picking, which is when they're skipping strings, but it sounds like they're just going down the 6 strings, but it sounds like it, but they're not. It's really like you take a chord and you kind of just let it fall down. It's hard to do, but if you can do it, it sounds really cool. So it builds up to that, but then there's piano in it. There's like stopping. You know, like this is such a weird song, but it works because there's so many stops. There's so many other instruments other than guitar. It's like so cool. And then you have the other versions of it, like August Burns Red or any other kind of version of Carol of the Bells, and it's just this like simplified thing. When Trans-Siberian Orchestra, it's like, no, it's more than that. It's a 3.5-minute song where it's going to be epic and like every part's going to be amazing and every part's going to be memorable, which is cool because Carol of the Bells is really a simple song. If you look up the music to it, it's really simple. But I like how Trans just like spaced it out into like almost 10 parts in a 3.5-minute song.
Just crazy. It's really timeless. August Burns. So obviously, okay. When I was listening to it, I'm like, this sounds familiar. So I was just confused by the titling, but that makes sense. So the August Burns Red edition, it was really cool to hear that because that was like just straight guitars going, and it was kind of like, all right, this is like if you want to go pure rock, you go this way. I dug it. Yeah, I can see you putting it number 2. Honestly, I think it wasn't for some of the stories and different me trying to be like my unique self, I could have had it higher. But it's definitely a solid track.
It is. It's such a classic too.
I'm very fascinated to learn about your number 1.
Oh.
So my number 1 is Last Christmas by Wham.
You gotta say it better than that.
By Wham!
There you go.
That's the exclamation point. You know what's really weird? I don't know why I got hooked to this song to be my number 1 in more recent memory. Obviously, you hear it and it's catchy. I honestly think what sucked me in is respecting the 80s synthesizer pianos in this. And it's like, wow, it just has a mood. And also, I think this song kind of shows how underrated George Michael is as an artist. And I think you sometimes, because in the 80s, you had a lot of you had Prince, you had Michael Jackson, you had like David Bowie, you had the U2s, you had, hair metal bands, you had some LL Cool J and Run DMC, you had so many things. And mixed in all that because, I think maybe because was very huge in the UK. Obviously, he was big in the States, but way bigger in the UK. You have Madonna. Madonna in the 80s too. Obviously, she was big. Madonna's not something I normally listen to, but obviously she was a force to reckon with back then. I have to historically give her credit. But I think George Michael is very underrated as an artist. But Last Christmas is just, I don't know, it's such a vibe. And I think a lot of the ways that the song's arranged in different parts works really well. And I think that's why a lot of the covers, we were talking about this, the covers of this song don't hit the bill because the way they do they try to twist up the arrangement. And it's like, no, don't try, the lyrics obviously are catchy, but it's more the arrangement of this song that really sets it. Yeah. I was going to tell you my number 2 cover, I think. When I've listened to it, and it's because it's just been playing at work on a Christmas playlist on repeat on the satellite radio or whatever. I actually think the Ariana Grande version works. like it's still a 2. It's not gonna be Wham, but I was like, okay, she can hold her own. Because I've heard like probably 6 iterations of that song at work. And the only one that's like remotely where I'm like, okay, I respect this in the time piece of like 2015, probably when I recorded with her, is that one. But no, the Wham one, I think I love it. I think it turned into like a running joke between me and my wife too, where I like this song so much, so it turned into like the song I kind of vibe with. What are your feelings on Last Christmas?
I like this song. It's really good. I mean, Wham's really underrated. Wake Me Up Before You Go, and George Michael solo stuff too, with Careless Whisper, which is like half Wham, half him, so it's whatever.
Yeah.
And then you got Faith, which is such a good song, been covered so many times. Really underrated song too, by the way. Faith, if you ever heard it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, he's good in what he does. I think like you said, got overshadowed really.
From other artists in that decade.
Yeah, and Taylor Swift version's terrible. Like, it's bad. And August Burns Red has a cover of it, and this song's so tough because when they have an instrumental to the song, you can hear the chorus, but the verse is like, because the melody in that verse is just so unique that you just like,
and it's really heavy on the vocal lines.
Yeah. I mean, Taylor Swift is slower, if you notice it.
Yeah, hers, I'm not a fan of hers, and I'm not like, she can obviously. I'm very curious if you ever do a debate show on Taylor Swift, because I actually have some interesting opinions that have garnered over the years, up and down, more recently. But this song does not fit the bill, and that's not knocking her as a whole, but it just does not fit the bill on this one. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would have to dive. That'd almost be a nice little like mini Christmas episode. Is dive into all the fucking covers of Last Christmas to see what rank those, because I don't know. I mean, I only say Ariana Grande's as a second just because it's the first one I could think of where I'm like, okay, she did her own thing, but it didn't ruin it. But it's not the same as Wham, so I'm not even putting this in the conversation.
Taylor's Santa Baby isn't bad. That kind of suits her.
Yeah.
Last Christmas does not.
Yeah, no. I mean, no, not really. But yeah, no. I think Last Christmas, it really is that piano that got me hooked at first, and then you listen to the actual like the vocal, like the lyrics of it. Not so much like the meaning of the lyrics as much, but sometimes this goes back to arrangement. It's like appreciating how the song is sung. That's when you like with a song. Sometimes it's like you appreciate it, and like there's little nuggets like the Merry Christmas. That's an Easter egg in that song. That's so like off kilter with everything else, and I'm sure in post they just did it wonky, but it's so magical that it works. Yeah, that's my number one. So I want to know about your number one.
Oh, there's 3 versions of it.
Yeah,
actually, there's probably more versions of it, but these are my like top ones.
Yep.
My number one is kind of traditional, but kind of not. "O Come Emmanuel." And actually, one of my coworkers asked me, "What's my favorite Christmas song?" We had Christmas music on the other day, and I said it was this one. No hesitation. I said it was this one. He goes, "Okay, why? Why is your favorite?" I said, "Well, for one, and it's probably my major one, no pun intended. It's probably my major reason is that it's one of the few Christmas songs in a minor key." One, I don't know what the other ones are. God Rest actually sounds good in minor, but this is the only Christmas song that I know off the top of my head that's in minor key, and that's why I like it, because it's kind of like a dark, moody song, but at the same time it has deeper meaning to it. It's Reason for the Season. It's one of the Reason for the Season song.
Yeah.
And the reason I like it, there's no reason for that, actually. The reason it's not for that. It just, I love the arrangement. I love how it sounds. I love slower versions. I love faster versions of it. I love the instrumentals of it. I mean, it's in minor, and which is very different. I just love the arrangement of the song. The melody, the instruments. It's hard to explain. Like, the first time I heard the song, I don't know who sang it, but I was like, this is easily my favorite song of Christmas.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of the technical stuff I respect from you because you really analyze the songs, which is awesome. So the question I have for you is,
why of the three versions, and I'm not pushing aside August Burn Red, but I want to push the ones that actually have the lyrics in it, between For Today and Phil Wickman. Is there a reason that you picked those two artists to represent why you like the song?
My favorite of this, if you would have told me this 2 years ago, I would have said the instrumental.
The August Burn Red
yes,
one?
Yes. No, it's still my favorite Christmas cover they do.
Yeah.
I just love the guitars in that. From tremolo to just regular picking to thrashing. But I like the Phil Wickham, or Wickham, however you say his name, version more because of how slowed down it is. And a lot of his songs are melody forward and kind of upbeat. He's another Christian worship artist. A lot of his songs that you listen to are really upbeat. But this one's like slowed down, mellow, and almost melodramatic for him to do. So it was kind of a different thing for him to do, and that's why I really like it. It's kind of a dark tone to it, which I really like. And then the For Today one, I love the chorus in that song. The chorus spells it out so well. I mean, I sing in the car all the time, every time it comes on. But the thing I liked about this one a little bit, to the other versions, is that the screaming melody is different lyrics. Like he changed the lyrics up. He's like, you know what? We're gonna just do the chorus of O Come Emmanuel, and we're just gonna write our own lyrics to this. And I mean, if you would have played this now, if this would have came out now, I would say the lyrics can talk about today. What he talks about, a dying world, you know.
Yeah.
For Today were really ahead of their time when they came out with their last three albums. Like they were way ahead. The stuff they were talking about. I mean, one of the songs is called Motolov, and it's about, you know, standing up for what you believe in and let your fire burn into the night, which we just saw this year with protesting.
Yeah.
They were way ahead of their time.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's really deep.
Or they have a song about human trafficking that they sing about, which was way ahead of its time because 2019, 2020, what came out? A lot of human trafficking stuff.
Damn. Yeah. It's pretty fascinating. I was wondering because I never really, I'll be real, I'd never heard of Phil Wickham, so I didn't really know his stuff, but it was a really nice arrangement and really soft and subtle. When you have a song in your number one spot or number two, there has to be kind of a story behind it. And that's why I was like, RJ has to have a story behind this. So when he said the minor key, I was like, okay, that makes sense. So, but that is our top five.
I mean,
Christmas songs.
To be honest, yeah, that's my top five. And to be honest, like a lot of your songs too, major keys, because it's Christmas. It's supposed to be like, yay, joy.
But yeah, you're right. Minor is not really done in Christmas a lot.
No, it's not. And that's why I love it so much.
That's dope. So what do you do to wrap up our episode? What do you do for Christmas normally? What's your kind of tradition?
Well, nowadays with everybody separated, I mean, we're not separated, we're like a couple hours away from each other, but
yeah, COVID world.
Yeah. But well, this is more recent stuff. We had to, you know, adjust to times of family stuff, people being ill and stuff like that. Like, I'm not gonna say who, but somebody in my family has been sick for a while. So was my parents, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, he's still kicking. He's still doing well. 81. So congratulations to you being 81 this year. So,
wow,
good for you. Still kicking. So yeah, it's a little different than the past couple of years. But what we usually would do is, of course, we're not kids anymore. But we usually would, of course, me and my sister would be up fucking like 5 a.m. Like, oh my God, Christmas! What do we get? And this was an interesting thing that a lot of families around me don't do. On Christmas Eve, we did smaller presents. I don't know if you ever done this. We did smaller presents. Grandma would come over. My aunts would come over from both sides, from mom's side and my dad's side. And a little personal thing. My uncle's on my mom's side. Just so you know.
Oh, okay.
So mom's family would come sometimes. Sometimes, you know, my dad's side would come. And that was the same thing with Thanksgiving too. You know, it would be split. Some years it would be one side, the other side. So. And then Christmas Eve, we do like small stuff. We do exchanges. And a little tradition we had, Santa would actually come.
Wow.
And then when I was like 10, I'm like, hold on a minute. This Santa's really tan. I kind of thought of something like, this Santa's really tan. This is weird. And I go, Mom, is that Dad? Because Dad would never be around.
It took you 10 years to realize
And
that?
like, yeah, I mean, I was maybe 8 or 10, something like that. 'Cause my sister was still very young. So
Yeah.
like,
You had like whispered
wait
to
a
your mom.
minute, Dad's never been here. I just noticed it, like, Dad's never been here. And then my mom was like, I think one year I figured out, my mom, oh yeah, he's actually helping Santa. So stupid shit like that, you know.
That's funny.
And
Oh my
dad,
God.
so he had a whole Santa suit up in the attic. So when everybody's hanging out, fucking late.
Yeah.
You're this upstairs and shit, and like, what's going on? And you hear the bells, and you would walk downstairs. And so as a kid, I'd be like, it's Santa. And then I figured out, like, Dad's never here. And my mom one day was like, he's just helping him. He's upstairs organizing the presents and shit. Okay, whatever. And one year I'm like, yeah.
I'm surprised you ever you saw me and hugging, like, feels kind of like Dad hugging me.
Well, he would come down, ho, 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 had the bag and everything. But because he's Santa, he would sit down. And, come on my lap, stupid shit.
It's funny because your dad's like kind of on the skinnier side. Was he chubbier back then?
Yeah, he still has like a beer gut, but yeah, he was a little bit bigger back then.
Okay. That might help the skin a little bit
Yeah,
too.
he still has the dad bod, but yeah, not as bad as it was. But yeah, that was one tradition. And just the funny thing is, like, everybody had to keep that secret, so because they knew.
Yeah.
I mean, his brother knew, everybody knew. So
That's
and then
funny.
Christmas Day, of course, I would wake up early. I had a tree in my room, so sometimes I would wake up and see my parents, but I was so like, dead asleep, like whatever.
Yeah.
And presents would be under my tree, so I'd bring them down.
Also, your parents would put presents underneath your individual trees in your room.
Yeah, like small stuff, like a video game or something.
Right.
that I
Okay.
really wanted, and the big stuff would be downstairs.
Wow. Okay.
So
That's
we
cool.
would all go downstairs and take us, and you probably know how to take us like 5 hours.
Yeah.
As the years went forward, it would be like, oh, let's get coffee first, and then we'll open presents and sip coffee, watch the news, and then you come in, you open presents. It would take forever back in the day. But yeah, we would all just sit around and we would make. After a while, back in non-COVID days, we would watch basketball, hockey would be on, stuff like that, maybe some football, and we would watch that. And after, my sister and I would play with our toys, our video games. But every year we did the same thing. When my sister and I got close, we would make tents of our gifts around us, and like our Christmas fort of our gifts, like action figures piled up and video games on this side, and then each week goes by, it gets smaller and smaller. Because like, I want to play this one. I want to play this one.
That's funny.
Yeah, we have funny traditions.
That's pretty cool.
And electric bill, forget it.
What?
My God, the electric bill.
Oh, electric bill. Oh,
God, we went all out. We had a village, we had a manger, we had everything.
Was that more your mom that went hard on Christmas, or your dad?
Both.
Both.
Because Aubrey would be like, oh, no wonder you never had a dog. Because we had village everywhere. But the villages on the shelf. We went all out. Halloween too, we went all out. It was like, the sitcoms, like Home Improvement.
Yeah.
Oh, he has better lights than me. That was our street.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, those. And then nowadays, we just do a little family dinner and stuff like that.
Do you usually go to? I know you because you've been with Aubrey for a couple of years now. Do you like go to see your parents on the same day, or do you rotate between her parents and yours? And
my parents are more the Christmas Eve people, so I go Christmas Eve the past couple of years.
Past couple of years.
Christmas Eve.
Nice. Yeah. So for me, God, mine's all over the place because my parents split. So I had some years with my dad, some years with my mom's. Yeah, I mean so let me try to nail down like consistent things I've always had. So consistent traditions I always had is when we did Christmas morning, the presents would all be out, underneath the tree in the living room. Didn't have a mini tree, but that was pretty cool that you had that. My mom would always make cinnamon rolls. So that's something that
ours was pancakes.
Pancakes. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Cinnamon rolls are always the tradition for the holidays in my house. So Yeah, we did that, and then there would always be some gifts unwrapped and then some wrapped. You do your stockings first. You always did stockings.
Yeah, we did that too.
Yep, and then you go into that. Nowadays, kind of with Nicole's family, my family being kind of across the country, it's been a while since I've had Christmas with them. I go over to their house. We do the gifts. We kind of like go in rotation. Then we have breakfast, and then usually, like in the past, we have people come over for dinner. Obviously, it's gonna be a lot less with COVID this year, but yeah, mostly chilled. Most honestly with them, they would watch Christmas movies all day. I'm the one who usually snuck on the basketball on one of the TVs or whatever sporting event, because that's just how I roll. And yeah, I think Christmas Eve is like there's always been a game. Last year we did this, and we're doing it this year. Is I forget the name, but it's basically you take a bunch of presents, right, or little gifts like candy, the small shit, and you wrap it up in a big saran ball, and then you unwrap the saran. It's like a huge ball until you get your thing, and then you rotate the ball around the table. It's really fun. Lots of saran wrap is used in the making of it, but yeah, that's pretty dope. And as far as Christmas, like different parents, like with my dad, we did it by the youngest age to the oldest kid. So I usually, obviously, last is the oldest kid. Trying to think like different traditions here and there, but no, I mean, obviously for me, it's just mostly family and spending time with people you care about. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's weird. You look at this year and it's like you obviously have a lot that's gone through with COVID and everything, but you're thankful for what you have. And the one thing I'm thankful for this Christmas or this year is like having the show with you. And it means a lot. And I know it's weird because it's kind of like the show sending off for the year. So it's just one of those, like, you kind of reminisce. And it's like, I'm glad, I may not be the most technical with my music stuff, but I think we're a good yin and yang. And I want to thank you for sitting over there in that right chair, left on screen. And,
Before we go, but I'll say
and you're the great Christmas present.
I'll say my thing too.
Yeah, no, I'm not rushing it.
Here's the thing. To go off what you said. You're technical on this stuff. I'm technical on the music stuff. Like, I'll get ideas, like, Hunter Max, this is my idea. I don't know what to do.
That's true.
And you guys be like, I can do the graphics. We want to do a spreadsheet. I'll do a spreadsheet. Oh, you want to do this thing with goes with A and B and C? And I'd be like, oh, yeah, do your thing. Oh, I got screen press. I can do that.
Yeah. That's
you guys. I'm like, I have an idea. Go ahead, take it.
That sounds about right.
Pretty much, yeah. But I want to tease something. If it's okay with you.
Of course.
I had an idea in the shower. I told Max about it. If it comes to fruition, great. If it doesn't, I'll do it on my own. We might have a lip sync battle
Ooh.
In the future. So stay tuned for that.
We're going to have to figure out how to do that digitally, but I'd be pumped for it.
Yes, we will figure it out. It's just a tease. It might be next year. Might be the year after. You never know.
Hopefully sooner.
We are teasing that because I'm really excited for it.
Yeah.
I have some ideas. But before I go, you were talking about sports. Christmas is usually basketball.
Oh, of course.
What's your movies?
Oh, yeah. We kind of touched on it lately, but okay. So movies for me, trying to think like ones that are, I'm kind of weird. So like, Nicole always makes fun of me, my wife, that obviously I will watch a movie more than once. I'm not a total weirdo, but I like to mainly only watch a movie one time for the most part. Like in general, there's movies I'll rewatch again, but it's not high on my list. I think, I don't know, I always had a really good memory. So I can't remember most shit in the movie. Like, yeah, this happened. Ding, 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 ding. And sometimes you have to be in the mood where, like, oh yeah, I'll watch this again. So Christmas is always weird because it's like, the emphasis of Christmas movies is you watch it again. Right? Okay. Ones I will say that are like on my list that I do like to watch, but yeah, I need to watch this. I will say Home Alone is on there. That's a more recent one. I'll be real. I did not watch it as a kid. I don't know why it didn't like hit my radar. Lord knows. I have a weird backstory, you know that. But yeah, no, more recently, I really enjoyed that movie. So that's one. Definitely. I guess I feel like Four Christmases always does it for me in that sense, like some of the time. I'm trying to think of some other ones, like probably the old school The Grinch. That's always on the list as well. definitely Santa Claus from Tim Allen, or they were actually Santa Claus 2 when we were coming in to record.
I noticed that.
Yes, but that whole series is always one I do enjoy. I'm trying to think of any other ones that come to mind. I'm like, I have to watch this. Obviously, there's movies I like. I'm just trying to think. Like Jingle All the Way is really funny, but it's that one I have to watch all the time. Probably. What do you have for some Christmas movies?
Definitely Home Alone, my number one.
Yeah.
Grew up on it. It's so funny. Even today. Yeah, it's kind of dated with all the technology and stuff, and like we talked earlier, the phones, like
Yeah.
you can only walk so far the wire goes. You can't walk your whole house with your phone. A lot of people watching will not know what I'm talking about, but
Corded phones.
yeah. And the answering machine, not a voicemail, an answering machine after the beep. Such a good movie, so funny, and kind of like almost like an adventure at the end when the crooks get into the house. Really painful. Like I was cringing. I was like, oh my God, this is actually kind of painful for them, these guys. Like the more as an adult, you're like, oh wow, I watched this kid. And when he was stepping on the Christmas balls, ugh, that must have hurt because that's all glass, it's all plexiglass. Or the nail, like I've done that. That freaking hurts.
Yeah, damn.
Definitely Elf.
Oh my God, yes, Elf. I'm so stupid.
Classic.
I mean, Elf is always on my list.
One of the most quotable movies that anybody. I mean, one of the most quotable movies. Like even like the underrated stuff too. Like Francisco, like stuff like that. I mean,
hey buddy, hope you find your dad.
Hey buddy, thanks, Mr. Narwhal.
Yeah, that's
everything's like, oh, this is not the North Pole. Where's the snow?
Of course it's Elf. I'm sorry, I can't believe I didn't say that one.
You smell like beef and cheese.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Candy corn, syrup. Or when he's in the mailroom and the guy has whiskey, he's like, "Oh, syrup and coffee." Like, it's not syrup, dude. That's a classic. My parents just got into it a couple years ago, so now we all quote it. So it's kind of like the family new tradition is Elf. Yeah, definitely Four Christmases. Thank you for reminding me. That's such a good one.
Yeah.
We are watching Santa Claus right now. I actually put on before I came over here.
Oh yeah.
So we finished Home Alone. I was like, oh, Santa Claus on Disney, so let's watch it.
Yeah. Speaking of Santa Claus and Vince Vaughn, have you seen Fred Claus?
I have once or twice.
Yeah, that was not bad.
Which, if you're a Disney fan, you should just like go through all their movies because you might find a gem. I didn't know they owned Home Alone or Santa Claus, so
I feel like that somehow in the weird process they bought the rights to it because originally that was not a Disney movie.
No, they own Fox now.
That's why, yeah.
Which is all the X-Men thing and stuff. So
yeah.
Because I was searching for it, Netflix won't have it. I know Hulu won't have it. Disney Plus is my last hope. So
yeah.
And Disney has everything, which is so crazy. One of my favorites that a lot of people are kind of like nowadays. It's a Wonderful Life. I love that one.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Such a coming of age one.
That's a very old throwback. I've watched that at school, but it's a good one.
Die Hard, of course.
Yes.
I love Night Before. It's a good one, but I wouldn't say probably top 10, not top 5.
Yeah.
The Grinch with Jim Carrey.
Nowadays, that one's interesting.
I definitely like it. I didn't like it as a kid. The more I watch it, I'm like, oh, I appreciate this. This is good.
The newer Grinch that came out actually was pretty cute. I have to give it credit.
That wasn't bad.
Yeah.
The thing about the Grinch with Jim Carrey is that there's no development up to Whovilles, but it's about the Grinch. So
yeah.
But funny fact, the Santa Claus, I was watching it and I'm like, there's a lot of subtle adult jokes in this. Like when he falls off the roof, he's like, and now I'm gonna go get a CAT scan. Like, oh, that's something we deal with.
Yeah.
And then he's like, his son's like, why are you acting all loopy? I don't know, but I grew up in the 1970s. It's like, what? There's all the jokes we missed when we were like kids, and we're like, oh, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, a couple like little takes here and there.
Yeah.
No, I feel like I sort of take the wife's lead.
Got your eye out.
Oh, that's one of my wife's favorites. Yeah.
Funny fact before we go. The head elf in the movie Elf.
Yeah.
Who says, buddy, how many toys did you make today? And he's like, oh, 200 and something, And cut head nitty mugging. That guy, it's actually the kid in the Christmas Story.
Really?
Yeah. So one of the few child stars that ended up okay.
in other Christmas glory.
Yeah, he actually is good friends with the director, Jon Favreau. And interesting enough, Jon Favreau did some of the Iron Man movies,
Mhm.
and The Kid from Christmas Story was a producer in all 3 movies.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
He's doing the Mandalorian, isn't he?
He does, yeah, he does that.
That's what I
He
thought.
actually does the narwhal voice in Buddy.
Oh, that's him?
Yes. So shout out to Raiders of the Lost podcast for giving me that fun fact.
Wow, that's dope.
Those guys are awesome, by the way.
I've heard that podcast before.
Yeah, they're on TikTok.
I haven't listened to it, I'm not going to lie, but I have heard that name before.
They're on TikTok and they're on YouTube, but I mean, shameless plug. But yeah, those guys are awesome. And they're from Mass, so we get the yeah, it just stays there. You want to go get some donkeys?
Hockey, Kai, Harvard, Yard. Oh, God. But, dude, this is cool. I'm glad we did a Christmas show. I know it's a little off kilter, but I think it makes it fun.
I thought the show was going to be 45 minutes, but nope.
Where are we at, an hour-ish?
Probably.
Probably. That's what happens.
This hat is starting to hurt.
Yeah, the headband's kind of getting to me, too.
It's like
so.
when you have your mask on the department store for so long, you're like, fuck, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, or have to like breathe a little bit. So, but yes, to everyone watching, thank you so much for all the listeners, the viewers checking out the show throughout the year. If you're celebrating a holiday, happy Hanukkah. I know that just wrapped up or is wrapping up. Kwanzaa's coming in soon. You have Festivus, you got the New Year, obviously Christmas, the OG. But my friend RJ, Merry Christmas, bud.
Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
you filthy animal.
But listen, you have all the shows coming out. You got the year-end review, so check that out. We'll be off maybe sign it for a couple of weeks, us, but the content's coming out, so you'll get it. And we'll be coming back to you live in 2021, January. Hot new tapes, Wingman of the Year. Check it out. Get the merch.
Buy some shirts.
Buy some shirts. Get some shows. Listen. Have fun. Winging It. Wingman Business. Wingman Sportsbook. Mad Attack Podcast. Streaming Cassettes. All the shows. All in one place. Wingmanoftheyear.com. But as always, love you guys. Streaming Cassettes. Signing out.